This is a combat guide for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I'm going to show you how to win pretty much any combat easily. And we're going to start from the basics, work our way up to where you can fight 4 people at once and be able to win anyway. First, let's start with one-on-one combat. So this guy's mainly focused on using weapons, but unarmed follows somewhat similar principles as this. So the most important thing you need to know as a beginner in all this is how to perfect block. So instead of holding the block button, you just don't hold it all and instead wait for that green shield icon to appear and then press the block button. The block button is L2 on controller and it's right mouse button, right click on mouse keyboard by default. You can change it on mouse and keyboard. Anyway, once you know this, you're basically invincible in a one-on-one. You can just block forever. But then there's obviously the riposte. But the riposte is not always a good idea to do. So most of the time with stronger enemies, if you riposte, they'll just block it. Not always though, like in that case. But in order to riposte, right after the block, you want to attack. Now you probably learned this in the beginning of the game in the combat training. Okay, this is like the basics, right? Well, there's things we can do that make it so much easier to win than this. So the easiest strategy to win a one-on-one is to only block and never fight back, and instead when you want to attack, just walk into them, and it'll do this, which will let you easily block then attack like that. And they'll dodge a decent amount of the time, but you'll be able to get a free attack no matter what. So you block on your way in, and then just try to get locked with him, and then from there you can, you know, I personally didn't let him do it because I don't want to kill this guy, but you would block and then attack like that, and you can force it over and over and over again. Now, if the guy has a one-handed weapon or a sword or whatever, then the trick is as soon as you lock, you don't press anything and just block and attack. Because you might get your swords locked together or something locked together. Then if you press in a certain direction, instead he'll basically win no matter what in some scenarios. So just, if he has a one-handed weapon, a sword, a mace, walk in, don't press anything, don't press left, right, up, down, or anything, just look ready to block and then attack. If you do that, you can pretty much beat anybody in a one-on-one with just this simple strategy. You just block till you get in. Well, he's really going hard, though. I think like I'm stuck in some kind of loop. There we go. And then from there, I'm not attacking, but I could have attacked right there. It's block followed by attack. And then you win. So that's 1v1s. That's the easiest way. The other thing you can do to win in 1v1s, and especially once you want to win in more than one, 4v1s, 3v1, stuff like that, what you're really going to want to do is you're going to want to get the master strike, okay? So the master strike is a special technique where you face the opposite way of him and then attack instead of block for the perfect block. But you will not have this by default. In order to get this, you'll have to get this unlocked. Now, I'll show you how to get it unlocked just a sec, but I do want to say the Master Strike is going to be your easiest way to win against multiple opponents at once, especially when there's 4 opponents or more, because the speed at which you can get in there and get an attack on them. Whereas getting up close and locking to them allows people to come behind you and start smacking on you. And fighting multiple people at once is all about control of the situation. So to get the Master Strike, you have to go see Tomcat. He's over in the Nomad camp over here on the map. And you'll get a quest for him if you talk to the beggar at Troskowitz. I think you don't need that. I think you probably just come talk to him. I don't know. But either way, you want to talk to him and fight him. Now, I've already done it. But the thing for this is, okay, so I'm going to see if I can practice combat again with him. A real fight. All right, so when you do the duel, you'll get to a point where you have to fight him. And the easiest way to beat Tomcat is what I showed you. If you only block and then try to get in close and then do what I showed you like this. And you just do this and you keep walking in on him. If he tries to attack you on the way in, then you just block. Like I said, don't press any buttons when you're locked with someone as a one-hand. And if you don't press anything, it'll give you the opportunity for a perfect block eventually. If they have a glaive, though, it's a little bit different. We'll talk in a second. But anyway, Tomcat, you beat him, and he'll teach you the Master Strike. And then after that, you'll be able to see that in your skills, your combat, or combos. Or not combos. I think it's under swords. Yeah, there it is. Combat skills, you'll have Master Strike unlocked after he teaches it to you. Really important to know that. Once you have that, then you can pretty much win no matter what, even against like 4v1s and stuff. It's like the key to being able to win. Once you know the Master Strike, you're good to go. You can fight multiple enemies at once. There's also something important to know about, which is dodging. So dodging by default is circle on a PlayStation controller, B on an Xbox controller, and I'm sure we can probably find it in the key bindings. We go in here and there should be dodge. That's right, it's not even listed in there, but it's spacebar. I remember what it was now. So spacebar while you're locked onto someone, will let you dodge or circle on a controller. And that's really important because it gives you an option to spin around someone, which is really helpful if you're doing hand-to-hand combat. But anyway, once you have multiple people, that's where the Master Strike comes into play. And that's where people who are unarmed actually become the most dangerous because you can't Master Strike them. So what we'll do here is, what we'll try to do is control space when there's multiple people. So you want to pick the guy on the edge and rotate around, so that way people can't come up beside you as easily. So now this guy's coming around, so I'll rotate around him. And you need to find an opportunity to get a Master Strike, because it's the fastest way to hurt someone. So we're going to go in here. I should be able to get a Master Strike if he attacks. There we go. Now we're going to swap to this guy. The key to winning these fights with multiple people is controlling the space and swapping targets, because they're going to keep rotating around you to where eventually they're going to surround you. So you want to control that and prevent that. So you see this guy, I'm going to rotate to the right now, and now he's the one on the edge, so I can just rotate with him. And this is where Master Strike's super handy, because like I said, the speed of it allows you to get an attack off without getting surrounded. So without the Master Strike, though, it's not the end of the world. You can instead just try the thing of walking up into them. But as you do it, just try to control the space as much as you can like before. It's a little bit harder to control the space. Oh, that's right. I got the one where I have to attack. There's another thing you can get locked with someone. I'm going to try to get locked to show it if I can again. Where sometimes when you get locked, it'll show just the crosshair going left or right. If so, then you press to the right, and then you have to do a normal swing, which I can't get. But a glaive, it'll always do it. When there's a glaive, you walk up to him, and the trick is to press right, and then just to press the attack button for that. But everything else, you can do the normal attacks. And that'll pretty much win you any fight between all these techniques. Now, the thing is, with hand-to-hand combat is where it gets a little bit different. In hand-to-hand combat, you're instead going to want to evade, which you can also do with weapons. So if you evade, you get iframes in this game, and it gets you an easy opportunity to get a hit on someone. So I'm going to show you this if I can. I can just go like that, and if I want, I could swing on him afterwards, which I just don't want to kill this guy. He's almost dead, but I'll kill him on the next one if he's about to go down. So you can dodge in any direction. I'm actually going to dodge at him to show. You see you dodge right into him. And you can do that, and that works. So between all these techniques, there's a lot of options to be able to beat people. So now we need to talk a little about stats and things for combat. So when you go to your inventory, if you press left here, you can see the stats of your gear. So you can look at the breakdowns, so stab damage, slash damage, blunt damage. You go to armor, you can see the slash, stab, and blunt resistance. So be aware of that when you have your armor on, what it's gonna do for you and stuff. Also, keep in mind that the heavier your armor is, the more it's going to weigh you down in combat, and it's going to affect your stamina drain when you do things. So if you have super heavy armor on and you evade, it's going to use a bunch of stamina compared to if you're lightweight. So it's kind of a give and take between having light armor and a no defense, but then having more stamina, versus having heavy armor and being able to tank a hit, but then have, you know, way more stamina, or way less stamina usage. Might have said that backwards. Another important thing about combat is stamina management. So that's why it's really good sometimes to just block, because you need to get your stamina back. So if you just sit and only perfect block, you'll barely use any stamina, which is why it's best in fights to only attack when you're really getting a good opportunity, because if you run out of stamina, especially when you're fighting multiple people, that can be the way that you lose the fight. So that's why it's important to just block and then only attack when it makes sense. Also, related to all that, there's your skills. So don't forget to spend your perks and things. There's lots of different things you can do that will increase your damage. It'll increase your ability to fight. Some of it's in the stats. A lot of it's going to be in the combat skills. You'll get things that will just increase your damage, decrease stamina usage. When fighting at superior numbers, gain bonus to strength, agility, warfare, and stuff. Also, just leveling up your strength, agility, and vitality will help you in combat. Like, at this point in the game, I have, without any debuffs on, I have like 21 strength and like 27 agility or something like that. And so with all that on, plus all my perks bring me up to that, so my base isn't that high, but some of these perks bring it up, you know. When you have it that high, man, the difference is insane. So like right now, I have, I put on a hunting sword. I don't know if you know this or not, but during this fight, I put on the weakest sword I could find so that I could show you. Because once your stats are higher, if you put on something like this thing, oh my gosh, man, you just one-taps a lot of people. Not one-tap, like two-tap them. Let's see if I can show you. You should just die here. Oh, he's not gonna die. This is like the tankiest guy in town, though. So, but yeah, once you get a stronger weapon, it's like over. Like you can just kill people so fast if you have high strength and a strong weapon. So, gear also matters, obviously. But the main thing for this was showing you how to do combat. If you know how to do combat, you can take the weakest weapon and you can just farm anybody. You can just kill anybody. And then another tip is in your armor, go find a pouch. Equip a pouch, and then you're gonna want to go to an apothecary, whatever. Buy marigold decoctions and equip them on your belt. Then you can press either B on the keyboard, or you can press right on the D-pad, depending on what you're using, and you can drink one of these in the middle of combat if you get some space. And then it takes a moment to drink it, though, so you got to actually get some space. But they'll actually heal you over 1 minute. You see my health going up now. That's something else in combat that will make life so much easier. If you have those available during combat, suddenly a lot of fights, you can just back off, use one, and then just only defend until your health comes back, and then get back in there and keep fighting. So that could win you fights that you otherwise wouldn't be able to win. Lastly, if you do insist on just swinging on people like crazy, just know that they might also have something like a master strike, and if so, your best way to attack is always diagonal. So if he's like prepped on the sides, so right now he's prepped on the sides, this guy's only attacking from the side. So he's on the right, then you want to attack from the top or the bottom. If he's prepped for the bottom or the top, then you want to attack from the sides. And the reason for this, a master strike can only work from the opposite direction of how you are. So he can't do an unblockable attack, or at least not with a master strike, if I'm coming from a diagonal. And diagonals are more likely to break through anyway. So if you're in a hurry and you're trying to get through, always attack diagonal. He's left, go down or up. He's up, go left or right. That's how you break through with normal attacks as well. If you're in a hurry and you want to try to take someone down fast, that's your best bet if you're going to try to like basically spam. You wait for him to attack, you just block it, and then you go for a diagonal from where he's at. So that's the basics of combat in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I hope that was able to help you out, guys. Hopefully I didn't forget anything. If so, just leave a comment. I'll see if I can answer it. But I think that pretty much covers everything you need to know in order to be able to win most combats. Now, the stronger the enemy, the more likely they are to have something like a master strike, so just be aware. But once you know how to do all this, then you can more easily just win any fight. Even when there's like 7 people like this, you'll be able to just win. So I hope that helps you out, guys. Did my best to explain everything I can. And hopefully now you have a better idea of how combat works in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.